I treated my wife's friend to some fine dining while my wife was out of town, and now my wife thinks I dined inside her friend. To give full context, my wife was away for a week visiting her parents. She has a friend, Amanda, who has been a close friend for many years. Amanda has had a rough patch, having recently broken up with her boyfriend and lost her job. My wife has been very supportive of her. Last week, Amanda had an interview and asked my wife if she could get a ride home from the airport since my wife was out of town and my office is near the airport. My wife asked me if I could give Amanda a ride on my way back from work. I didn't have any plans and agreed Amanda and I are not really friends and only interact socially. I told Amanda to message me when her flight arrived at the airport and I would pick her up. I picked her up around 6:00 p.m. and we were driving home. We were having small talk about the new company she was interviewing with and her work in general. Amanda mentioned she didn't have any food at home and asked if we could stop by a drive-through so she could get some food. I was also hungry and suggested we stop somewhere for a quick dinner before I dropped her home. She agreed and started searching for places. On the way, she put in the address of a restaurant, and we drove there. We didn't realize it, but the place was a pretty fancy Italian restaurant. She remarked that it looked too fancy, and I said we were already there, so let's eat. I messaged my wife to let her know we were getting dinner, and she said, okay, we had a pretty fun evening and a nice dinner. She had a few drinks, and I did not. Since I was driving, we generally don't talk much, but she opened up to me, and we had a very nice chat. I never knew Amanda, and I had so much in common, including our taste in music and movies. I didn't notice, but we were at the restaurant for 1.5 hours. Amanda was taking pictures during dinner and also asked the server to take our picture at the end of the meal. I dropped Amanda home. She gave me a quick hug and said thanks for such a nice evening. I called my wife, told her I dropped Amanda off and was heading home. She seemed busy, so I just let her know I had reached home and said good night. This is where things got a bit weird. Amanda messaged me around 11 p.m. saying thanks for the ride and that she had a good time. She sent me our picture together. I saw the message and liked to acknowledge it later that night. Amanda shared some of the photos from our dinner on her Instagram, including our photo together captioned as Dinner with a Friend. I am not friends with Amanda on Instagram and did not see it the next morning. My wife called and asked me how my date night with Amanda was. I laughed that off thinking she was teasing me, but my wife sounded pissed off and kept asking for all the details, which I was happy to provide. That night my wife called again and told me that Amanda had told her about the night before. The issue was that Amanda made the dinner sound way nicer than it was. She kept praising me for how I was a gentleman, treated her better than most of her dates, how I, a good listener, paid for the whole thing, etc. I feel Amanda also added fuel to the fire by telling my wife all the wonderful things I did for her during the evening. My wife feels I should have asked her before inviting Amanda to such a fancy place for a romantic dinner. She was also pissed that hundreds of people like Amanda's post on Instagram, and she feels disrespected that her husband went out on a date night with her single friend while she was out of town. She also jokingly asked me how her goodnight kiss was, and I told her it was just a hug that seemed to make her angrier. I have not even told her about the late-night message from Amanda and me, liking the picture with a heart emoji, because I am too scared at this point. I wanted to ask if I was wrong to invite Amanda to dinner when both of us were starving, and it was dinner time. Do you think my wife is wrong and overreacting to all of this? I was just being nice to her friend, whom she asked me to drive home. I also communicated with my wife throughout the night, and she seemed okay with it at the time. Time update 1, I made a post about going out for dinner with my wife's friend while my wife was out of town. Visiting her parents last week, she posted our photos on Instagram, and it's an understatement to say that my wife was not happy about it. I've been getting the cold treatment from her since the incident. Many comments made me believe that I did something really horrible. However, I knew in my heart that I did not have any wrong intentions and decided to just be honest with my wife. She came home yesterday evening and I went to pick her up at the airport. I went on my charm offensive and got some flowers and chocolates on the way. While my wife was happy to see me, After 2 weeks, I could see she was still a bit annoyed with me. I asked her if she wanted to stop by for dinner at a restaurant, and she gave me a look, telling me to keep driving and that we would order takeout. She also asked me to cut the BS and be normal after we reached home and settled in. I got dinner ready. I decided to be direct and asked her why the incident was really bothering her. I told her that I know she is not an insecure person, and she also knows I would never put myself in an inappropriate position. While I understood why she would be annoyed by the situation, I did not expect her to doubt me. She was the one who trusted me to pick up her friend from the airport in the evening, as it was dinner time, and her friend said she was hungry. It would have been rude of me not to offer to get food for her. Also, my wife knows that I always offer to pay for dinners, whether it is my friends or hers. It is just the way I was brought up, and we often have fights during family gatherings over who gets to pay. I asked her what exactly was bothering her and why she was okay during the night. When I kept her updated about everything but got upset in the morning, my wife told me that the whole situation smelled funky to her. She said she does not doubt for a second that I had any wrong intentions. However, the optics of it all were really bad for her. She said that she is not upset about me getting dinner for her friend. She would expect me to do that, and Amanda also appreciated it. The issue started early in the morning when her mum barged into her room to show her Amanda's post. Her mum thought I was going out with Amanda behind my wife's back. My wife told her mum that she knew. I took Amanda out for dinner and explained what happened. She then got a lecture from her mum about how naive she was and how this is how affairs start. My wife said that annoyed her a lot. Her mum also looked up the restaurant and told my wife that it was a very pricey place and was voted best place for romantic dates by some magazine. Her mum completely freaked out after seeing my picture with Amanda, so my wife looked up our credit card statement and realised I had spent a lot on the meal. She also mentioned that Amanda has a huge social media following on Instagram and posts a lot. I think she is a fitness influencer or something, but I don't really follow her. Even though most of the pictures in her post were of food, the last photo of me and her looked like a boyfriend. Reveal, as we were sitting next to each other, she told me I wouldn't understand, as I am not on Instagram, but this is how people announce they are dating someone nowadays. As the day went on, Amanda got more than 1,000 likes on the post, with many people commenting and saying, "We look nice together." My wife was annoyed that Amanda did not correct any of them, so she called Amanda in the evening to ask her to take the last picture down. However, Amanda kept praising me and how I was charming and fun. Amanda told her that for all these years she felt I was snobbish and pretentious. I am a huge introvert, so I come off that way. But she was wrong. My wife said this was annoying because she has never seen me be charming with any of her friends before when she is around. Amanda was talking about all my favourite bands and suggested we all go to see a concert sometime. Amanda said she posted our photo because she had never been treated to such a nice place before and wanted to acknowledge me in the post. My wife never asked her to take down the picture because of that. She then had a lot of questions for me about when I dropped Amanda off, why I walked her to the apartment building door, and when I got home I told her I could show her the exact times and receipts for everything. But do we really want to be that couple who questions each other about every little detail? She could check the credit card charge, the messages I sent her after dropping Amanda off, and our Ring camera in the garage, and come to her own conclusions. She asked me if I thought Amanda was flirting with me during the night, and I told her that was not the case. In fact, Amanda messaged me our photo at night, and I just sent an emoji instead of engaging in a conversation, mostly because I was busy with my video game. That chapter was closed for us, and neither a man nor I messaged each other. After that, Amanda is my wife's friend, and I do not intend to be close friends with her anyway. As I have my own friends, I also insisted to her that Amanda was not inappropriate in any way during the night and maintain proper boundaries. So this incident should not affect her friendship with Amanda. In fact, if Amanda had any bad intentions, she knew my wife was out for the rest of the week and would have tried to message me again, but she forgot about the evening. And so should we. Overall, my wife seems to be back to normal after the conversation. My wife is not an insecure person. I could see why she would be annoyed by the situation. However, I know in my heart that I will never disrespect our marriage and had no reason to be sneaky or lie about the situation to her. I am glad we talked it through and I was able to answer all her questions. Thanks again for all your suggestions.